the maracas, I go chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Hey!
Welcome to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, a show that takes a critical look at the disparities between medical school education and society's growing healthcare inequities. Join Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer each episode as he interviews the experts working to transform medical education and ensuring that future doctors are trained to provide equitable and compassionate healthcare for all communities. Dr. Greer received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, honoring his dedication to providing healthcare to underserved populations. As Dean of Roseman University College of Medicine in Las Vegas, Dr. Greer is committed to creating a medical school of the future where students embrace the need to unite the heart and science of healthcare. And now, the host of No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer.
Well, good day, everybody. My name is Pedro Joe Greer. I am the Dean at the Roseman University College of Medicine, and welcome to Cuba Pete. This is a podcast that we've had now for about 3-4 years about meeting with significantly important people to see the interaction of society and healthcare and health education. Today, we are incredibly honored to have Mason Van Houweling, who is the CEO of the UMC, the University Medical Center here in Nevada. Now, why is this an important thing? First of all, he is one of the great leaders. He spent almost a quarter of a century in the military, retiring about 5 years ago as a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. He also served in Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken. So you have a true American that is dedicated to improving the lives of others and has done that. Right now, UMC has over 5,000 employees. It is the only level 1 trauma center in all of Nevada. It has the most sophisticated healthcare system that exists in the entire state. He has greater than 50 years experience. And by the way, I just want to mention that not only being a great administrator, he's a great parent. He's got one daughter in the Air Force and another at the University of Tennessee. But just going back a little bit, UMC was actually started in 1931 as they were building the Boulder, which is now the Hoover Dam. One nurse, one doctor, 24/7. In 1940, it changed its name to the Clark County General Hospital. In the 1950s, it became the Southern Nevada Memorial Hospital with the mission to have the highest technology and equipment possible to date. In the late 60s, the Lions Club funded it, the very first burn care unit in the state. And in 1986, it became a teaching hospital, and they were offering complete care. This was for the University of Nevada, Reno, that students would come down. In 1992, they opened the first trauma and pediatric center, followed by 96, a pediatric ER. In 2009, they opened the UMC Children's Hospitals, which, by the way, people say there's no children's hospital in Nevada. Well, there's one at UMC. As a matter of fact, it's the only one that's actually affiliated with the pediatric hospital systems. And today, it is more than just a hospital. It is a health system. It is an academic medical center. It is the only level 1 trauma, the only designated pediatric trauma center, and the only birth center and center for transplantation, of which they're hoping to start going into liver transplants. If I remember, you had said something like 600 heart transplants a year?
Well, we're doing 600 heart cases, so bypass, complex cardiovascular cases. So,
And Mason, you are a spectacular leader. You really are. With the best mission you could possibly have. You don't turn anybody away. You take care of this entire community. And as a physician, we always complain about administrators. That's just one of the things we do. But without somebody like Mason, we couldn't do the work we do. So we're fully dependent on you. And you have taken this hospital from losing money to actually, I'm thinking, in the black, making it work, understanding that you don't get a whole lot of support from the other hospital systems that, are just for profit. And the question I want to start off with is, why? Why do you do this?
well, I appreciate it, Joe, to be invited to your Cuba Pete podcast. So I was excited to join you today, and thank you for covering the history of UMC. And nobody longer in our community has been covering and taking care of patients than University Medical Center, like you said, since 1931. And we're very, fast forward from that 20-bed hospital right on Charleston, taking care of the community at the time, to today, the highest level of care of the state of Nevada, and that's what we take pride at. So, I guess the question why is, it was a dream job. It was challenged back. So I've been there since 2014. Everything that probably should say it go the other direction. Financially challenged, big union shop, public hospital that was looking at facing possible closure. That was a serious discussion back then. But it was all the right things that I wanted to do with my career. I wanted to be challenged, and always looked to be challenged. And so with building an amazing team, having amazing support from the people of Las Vegas and the county, we've been able to turn around UMC, and I think one of the best public hospital turnarounds in our country.
I couldn't agree with you more.
And we've really become a flagship, a leader, not only in Southern Nevada in the state, but also in the nation too. So got the honor to represent the 5,000 strong, and we've got a large acute care hospital back on 1800 West Charleston, but very proud of what we've been able to do outside the main campus in our ambulatory division, which includes primary care. So we're very focused in on taking care of patients and not having them have to come to UMC and seek our services, but also our quick cares for those services that are in your neighborhood that we could take care of close to home, and our online care and host of other specialty care services at UMC. So extremely proud of a lot of the first and only services that you talked about, but also the things and the mission that we do. So really it's the mission, Joe. I think in everything I've done, where I can help people and make change and contribute. That's what I know. That's what you're about and your career. And
But remember, I took a note, so I'm obligated. You're doing this. You're a person that has served our country in many ways, and not just talking military or serving our country in a public hospital, but you two girls, right? That's you and your wife have been able to offer something to America, which is two great young adults that are going to make a difference. And so, I mean, I am truly impressed and grateful to have you here. And I got to say, I am honored to say I'm your friend. And what in your upbringing made you such a good guy?
I appreciate that, and means a lot coming from you too. It's just so I've always enjoyed welcoming you to our community here in Las Vegas, and you've made big contributions and impact. But I think it starts with just my upbringing from my parents. I wasn't always minded, and I did get in trouble back then, but had a loving family, father and mother. I grew up as a military child. My father was in the Navy as well, so that had a lot of influence on me. And my mother certainly was there for me when I got home and made sure that I was on the right track, and always kind of pushed me. And so I had a lot of good influence. I would certainly say being around the military all my life does change you, does influence you in a positive way. And I always recommend if you're not sure what you want to do coming out of high school, give the military a shot. They'll train you, they'll feed and educate you, and give you a career that you do forever, whether you serve 4 years or 25 years.
Which is fantastic. The UMC as a health system is this spectacular health system. What is your opinion is the most pressing public health issue we have right now today?
I think there's a lot of things that are challenging healthcare. It's certainly, there's a lot going on, lots of pressures, lots of impact, lots of regulations. But everybody that I work with in our state are trying to do it for the right reasons, improve the lives of the communities we serve throughout the state, and my colleagues in the hospital association. I think we certainly, cost is a big thing. It is always at the top of mind, but we are challenged with a lot of headwinds related to that, whether it's shortage of labor, the cost of the specialists that we have, technology and other things, access. So I think access, affordability, and quality are all things that we are always working on together. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to continue to do. I think, with changes at the federal level, that's always uncertain too on which directions and how CMS is going to take a direction. A lot of the unfunded mandates is very difficult on hospitals and providers. So, we're seeing as people are coming out of medical school, we're seeing that they want to be more employed now. And so instead of hanging a shingle, because it's very tough, it's a small business. And as you know, it's managing all that and dealing with payers. And
First of all, getting accredited could take months and months and months. That means you can't see any of those patients. You could see them, but your office won't be reimbursed.
And we need all hands on deck here in the state of Nevada. And the nice thing, whether it's the state, the county, the city level, the hospitals and medical societies, we're all working together. And so that's one thing that we do stand shoulder to shoulder on. And we've made a lot of good impact over the last few years.
Well, the importance of UMC and what you're doing, and a lot of people don't realize this, is although there's a lot of unions here, there's a lot of hourly employees that are not unionized. And so they have no insurance. As a matter of fact, not only do they not have insurance, to go see a physician or a provider means you're going to make 20% less that week because you have to take the whole day off.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing is with Governor Sandoval on expanding the Affordable Care Act, and that certainly helped and brought Nevada down as far as their uninsured. They were actually second to Florida as far as the highest uninsured rate. Prior to that, we're close to 20%. Wow. And so, we're closer, we're hovering around 10% uninsured now in the state of Nevada. But, UMC and all of our hospitals stand ready to take care of those that are either underinsured or uninsured. So we have an obligation but we can still do better, finding meaningful work and employment and good wages. Certainly, we want patients to move off of the Medicaid system. And I always, believe it or not, we've got 1 in 4 Nevadans on Medicaid. 1 in 2 children or babies are born in the Medicaid system. And I try to remind people that's a poverty system. We want people off of that. And from a budgetary standpoint from the state, that's hard to sustain. As that continues to grow and the dollars continue to grow, that comes at the expense of something else. So I think getting people, commercial insurance and on the exchanges is finally important for our community.
And we have to also expand the commercial insurance to be able to cover behavioral health issues, because that's a major problem in this country. And we see that with the high rates of addiction, the high rates of suicide, and what our society is going through. And that's something that needs to be addressed, not as an individual level, but as a more provincial level. So you have to take care of the whole area, not just Las Vegas, but the whole area. And other things that we've discussed that we need here in our own state is if you live in Pahrump, you get no prenatal care because there's no midwifery, there's no OBGYN. And so if we want to continue to maintain mothers healthy, children's healthy, these are issues we have to address. And I know you discussed this at your administrative level as running this giant system. And how are we going to do this?
Yeah, I think you hit on some very good points, especially particularly in Nevada. And I think you and I both seen that mental health, behavioral health has become more on the forefront. It is part of taking care of yourself. Coverage is a lot better than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Access and availability is better, but it is compounded other issues that end up on the doorsteps of hospitals like UMC and other hospitals in our community are taking care of those patients, and they become far more acute. I think the county is doing a couple of good things that are in motion. We're partnering with the county and UMC on building some crisis stabilization centers throughout the community. And then also with the pharmaceutical drug settlement of dollars that the state was awarded, those dollars are going to be put into a facility out by Nellis Air Force Base by the Speedway. We're partnering with the county on building a 150-bed residential behavioral health drug addiction clinic out there as well. So there are some good things that are in process that our lawmakers and our public officials are very focused in on. I think you touched on the other piece is rural health. Obviously, Reno and Las Vegas, and here in between, there's a lot of families and communities out there that don't have access to any health care, even online care. So I know that's a big focus for the state this year, related to some of the dollars that they spend at bringing care out to those communities, and getting the support from some of the big metropolitan cities as well.
I don't know how to thank you. I really don't. What you do is such an invaluable service to not just Las Vegas, but as an example for the rest of the country and the rest of the world. I can see why your kids are doing so well. They have a great role model. If you had a message to give to Las Vegas for the future of healthcare in this community, what would it be?
I think that's an important one, and I appreciate the question. Just thinking about this, and Las Vegas is a special place. I was originally from Florida, moved out here in 2008 with my young daughters, and never thought of Vegas being a destination or a place on my list, and place to raise a family. But I certainly this is home now. And I think the nice thing about Las Vegas is we're 1 degree separation. Somebody that I know that, and we're still nimble. We can still get things done in a personal way. And I think that's important, whether you're in the healthcare industry or any other industry. And again, we've got a lot of good things going for us, lots of grit, lots of will to do it. So again, I think we need to keep that community aspect still together. But again, keep pushing, always advocate for your communities. And again, the nice thing about UMC, Joe, is, we do not have shareholders, so we're not publicly traded. We don't have private equity or capital venture in our facilities. But I do always tell our team we have care holders in our community, because it is our community's hospital. It is your listeners' hospitals. It's our public hospital. And so we all have a vested interest to make sure it does well, not only survive, but also thrive. We need to be able to grow, because UMC is going to be that hospital that covers services that others may not, and take risk and challenges. So I think that's the key is that keep that community of Las Vegas, stay involved, engaged. And again, I think we can always pick up a phone and call each other to help each other do it. What other industry we have that gentleness about us?
It is so refreshing to hear a leader emphasize mission. And by maintaining that mission, you save lives. And by saving lives, you save families. And by saving families, you keep a community alive. And so I just think that Vegas would not be Vegas if it wasn't for you and UMC. I'm also a transplant from Florida. So, and as I got recruited some of the people from Florida to come out here, I told them that I could get them beachfront property. I never said oceanfront, I just said beachfront. I like that. And everybody that's come out here loves it. We love this community. It's a nice community. It really is. And believe it or not, a much more intellectual community than South Florida was. Sorry, South Florida, but that's the truth. You could look at folks, but there's people are courteous here and truly vested in making this place better, especially meeting folks like you. Because to be able to work with somebody that's mission-oriented and has turned around a major system and making it even a bigger system and bringing Las Vegas to the modern light. There was just a huge fire in Los Angeles. A dear friend of mine at UCLA and at RAND told me, he says, get ready. You're going to have a lot of professionals moving to Las Vegas, which I think might be our benefit.
Yeah.
We do need that. What do we rank? 48th, 49th as far as primary care and surgeons to the population. This is something that we have to turn around. I mean, there's a lot of little issues that we're dealing with, the time it takes to get your license, being certified by an insurance company, et cetera, et cetera. But these are details that can all be worked out. And so, and now that physicians want to work for a system as opposed to putting out their own shingle, what great opportunities for UMC.
Yeah, and I think we're uniquely positioned to do that. And one of the things I tell the team all the time, it's not one person, one department, one service line. It's all of us working together, every hour, every shift, every day. And good things will happen. And I think we've got a really good culture there, very caring. And again, we're caring for our neighbors, our friends and families. So I think you're right. We've got Las Vegas is prime for lots of good growth and opportunities. And again, working together, such as your organizations as well, you're doing great work. And I got to hear a lot about that this morning as well. So excited about things that could happen with Roseman and the accreditation in the future too.
So, we're excited. Yeah. We are as confident as we are anxious, but we will know by mid-February. And we will hopefully have the third medical school, and we have one DOD, School of Osteopathic Medicine, and then you have UNR, UNLV, and Roseman, hopefully. This is the other beauty of living and doing stuff here in Las Vegas is we're not anchored by the traditions of the East and the West Coast. You had told me about a slide you have that shows a bunch of planes going in one direction and one going up, which is UMC, which is how you approach things. Yeah. You want to describe that?
Yeah, no, I try to welcome every new hire that comes in to the organization and be among the first to welcome them. So every other Monday when we're onboarding our staff, and I get excited because I get to see who's joining UMC. It's a prestigious place to work at, and lots of people are trying to get in to be a part of it. But I go through on why we're different, and back to your highlighting our mission. We're very focused on our mission and our values. But I have got a slide where kind of jets are, and the jet stream is going off in one direction, and UMC is kind of cutting through that, and in our traditional UMC blue smoke, and we're forging a path. And I think that's important. And I talk about also, President Kennedy visited, when we're trying to do, put a man on the moon, essentially, and all the time and energy put to that. And President Kennedy was going on a tour, it veered off the tour, it unscripted, and went up to a janitor or a housekeeper at the time and asked that janitor, "What are you doing?" And I always tell the story to our new hires, and that janitor could have said anything, right? I'm mopping the floors, I'm cleaning up some debris, I'm finishing up my shift. But the way he responded to President Kennedy at the time is he said, "I'm helping to put a man on the moon, Mr. President." And so I tell that again, it's no matter what job you have, it's all of us working together to create the mission at UMC, and that's what makes it special and why I enjoy it so much. It was probably the best career move for me because I feel every day when I drive into work, I'm going to make a difference, and you just proud of the team.
And you do. You make a difference, and you get to see it from the patient perspective. That patient has a family, and you just got that family together. And when you deal in healthcare with all its complexities, all its sciences, it simply comes down to that human being that's there, right? Mason, I know I speak for all of Las Vegas when I say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for what you've accomplished, because everything you've accomplished is to our benefit. And as you were talking about Vegas being a small town, I always refer to it as Las Vegas is a small town with a bunch of people.
Yeah, and sir.
And we are blessed to have you. I just want to say thank you. As a physician and as a dean of a medical school, I want all the other deans in other cities to be jealous because they don't have Mason and they don't have a UMC. So we're here to make a difference along with everybody else in this community that's trying to, and especially along with UMC and the work you're doing.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. And on behalf of the team back at UMC, we appreciate the community support. It's their hospital, so that we know that.
You have our support. As they say in the military, I have your six, which means I have your back.
Yep, I know that is. I know that term well.
So, is there any final statement you'd like to make before we get off the podcast?
No, lots of good things on the horizon for our community and UMC, and we just put a major renovation in our exterior. So if you get an opportunity to drive by UMC and really reflecting the exterior, we call it our Revitalize project, Revitalize. And it's really reflecting the great care that happens every single day at UMC. So very proud of that. And we're almost done with that project, and we'll keep doing other things. We're looking at liver transplants. We're already doing liver care in the community.
Which is exciting to me. I'm a hepatologist.
That's right. I may lead on you for your expertise. So you're hard to find, by the way. Your specialty. So yeah.
Well, I'm half Irish. I figured I'd have patients anyway.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we're looking at lots of other things. Our stroke. We're raising the bar in our stroke program, doing lots of teaching, and we only not only teach doctors, we teach all the other critical specialties. And you and I talked about this. The hospitals don't run without the nurses, the technologists in the lab, the respiratory therapists. So we have close to 2,500 students coming through our doors every year, training the next generation healthcare workers. So again, we take that very special to our heart. So we got to grow, and we love growing Nevadans too. So.
Well, I got to tell you, we have a program, Empowered, which takes care of opioid use disorder, pregnant women, and recent mothers, and it's run by a pharmacist who talks about how she trained at UMC and how important that was and how that formed her thinking and all the different things. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. Yep, I hear a lot of great stories about alumni from UMC.
Well, I hope to be able to supply people that become alumni from UMC. Whether our physicians are doing their training there or they get a job there, that would be great. Mason, thank you for being on the show, number one, but number two, and most importantly, thank you for who you are and the leadership that you bring to this community. And Las Vegas is with you because you are Las Vegas.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you so much. Thanks for your hospitality.
Oh my goodness, anytime. And when you start drinking coffee, let me know. I have great.
Okay, haven't had it yet. So
I'm Cuban, so they start us off at 2 years old with coffee. So, and with that, this is Cuba Pete here in our home studios saying thank you, and let's make this community better.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite podcast platform. If you'd like to support the groundbreaking work that Dr. Greer is doing at the Roseman University College of Medicine, please donate at the link below. Thanks for tuning in to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, as together we work to unite the heart and science of healthcare to serve all in our communities. See you next time.